Jingle number 1, please.
Rock the rock, 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 the roll, the roll, the roll, 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 the rock and the roll podcast.
Did you say Rock and the Roll podcast? Jingle number 2 for me, please.
Ba-boom, boom, it's the Rock and Roller podcast. Yeah.
Jingle number 3 for me. I did ask you to get the name of the podcast in there. Is it in there? Just do it slower for me. I think we just play the original. Click.
It's the Rock and Roller podcast.
Slick. Hello, mates.
What do you mean slick? That was all...
Slick Rick. That was pre-recorded.
That was all pre-recorded. I don't know what you mean. Slick from weeks ago when we did that.
Weeks and weeks.
Bloody...
We record these podcasts sometimes years apart.
Sometimes.
We've got so much to catch up on.
So much.
All the stuff. What you've been up to. All the stuff you've been doing since I last saw you.
Well, last episode was the wrestling.
Yep. So we spoke about wrestling in depth.
Yeah. Anyway,
people loved it.
Check it out.
People loved it.
Have we got the analytics for that one yet?
Not yet, but I know thousands of people liked it.
Yeah.
Some more on that. We want more than an hour on wrestling.
We'd love
You've
that.
Introduced us to wrestling.
Yeah.
Can we wrestle you? No, you can't.
No, stop asking about
Stop
wrestling us.
asking about wrestling me.
But we, I've been good, mate. I've been good.
You've been good?
I've been...
You've been well?
You know.
Have you been well? You look well. You look well. You look shit. Hey?
You look well. Shit.
5 out of 10.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been good. How have you been?
I've been all right. You know, my toes recovering
Yeah.
slowly, day by day. I'm getting feeling back. I'm still not quite. We're not quite on the same page yet. But we're getting there. So we're going to therapy. We're going to family therapy.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
The other toes don't quite. He's fallen out with them, truth be told. That little piggy. He's not going to market yet.
He's not.
He's in the back of the abattoir.
Your toes are racist to purple toes, aren't they? So
yeah. Well, can't talk about that.
You know,
not in this day and age.
They show up and what are you doing here?
Yeah. Get off.
Purple.
Get out of here. We don't like your sort. Cut your toenails.
That piggy.
Don't bite them.
Stop biting them.
Did you ever bite your toenails?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
That's why your teeth are all crooked. You've been to the dentist, haven't you? Do you want to talk about your dentist quickly?
Well,
we'll get to music in a moment.
Yeah.
Talk to me about the dentist.
I went to the dentist. I'd not been to the dentist for longer than I'd like to.
How long was that, sorry?
Well,
no, I didn't know if you said that. How long was that?
I was a young whippersnapper last time I went.
Yeah.
And
just tell me how long ago that was. Sometime.
Those days.
And unidentified.
Those heady days. I finally been back to the dentist, and I feel like I've she abused me.
You've been filled in.
I've been
well and truly.
I've been well.
You've been hacked. You've been filled in. You've been scrubbed. You've been sucked.
But now,
did you hear that?
Listen to that.
There's some fine teeth.
Me gnashers are back.
Yeah, I've got some posh false teeth.
Have you?
Judy dentures.
Hey,
a little bit early for Jack's joke of the week.
Anyone?
It's about music this episode, isn't it, mate? We're talking music.
It's entitled Headbanging and the Bee Gees. Mutually exclusive?
I like the way that you're lifting. You're doing the shrug almost.
Mutually exclusive?
It's because we like a bit of Bee Gees. We like a bit of funk, a bit of soul.
Me no.
A bit of Motown, a bit of rock and roll. We like a bit of metal as well, don't we?
A bit.
We like solid.
A big slice.
I'd have a hunk of metal.
I'd have a slab.
A hunk of burning metal.
Hunk of burning metal.
In my ear holes.
Get that right in your ear.
So, where to begin? We're musicians. We're lovers of music.
Yeah.
We're writers of music. We eat music.
Let me settle in here.
You settle in, look.
Oh, that's nice.
That's it. Put your trotters up.
Oh, lovely.
There you are. Look, you settled?
I'm settled.
You got everything you need?
Well,
we are recording.
I'm settled.
Do you need to do anything?
I'm ready.
Do you need an emergency wee?
Maybe.
I've told you.
I'll do it here.
I'll turn the car around. I've told you before.
I'll do it here.
You didn't need a wee back there. I said you need a wee. You didn't go.
Do you need a wee before
But I didn't need it.
Before we talk to ourselves.
That's what I used to say. But the thing is, You pass the toilet, you go in the toilet. That's the rule. That's the rule I abide by, which is nightmare in my own house. Every time I walk past, I got to go. I'm going upwards of 50 times a day.
That's right.
It's just a nightmare.
Music
then. So let's talk about music.
I think we should talk about maybe, because we are often
described as pioneers of music.
Very much, but we're often described. We come from very from mothers and fathers that are very into music, and I think
musical families,
especially
like
my dad.
Traps.
My dad is like a musical encyclopedia.
Open him up, he knows facts. Any year, he knows a number one.
And I think that's rubbed off on us. We're quite knowledgeable about music for our age.
You've bigged us up.
We're only.
I know a little bit about music. Yeah,
we're only youngsters, aren't we?
We know quite a lot about music. I think our points of reference are not the same as a lot of other people our age.
No,
I think we're not just your Radio 1 guys.
You've got an incredible knowledge of the 50s.
I know a lot. Full stop. No, I know. Yeah, I know a bit. I know a bit about everything.
You're 26.
I'm 26. Yeah, but I did have a past life.
Of course.
And I was a right rocker back in the day. I had my hair slicked back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that about 2 months ago.
You did, didn't you? Yeah. Talk about your hair for a moment. You look like you've just come out of the army.
Well, I decided that I needed to cut my hair to get a reputable job. Decided to be a squaddie instead. So,
yeah.
Hey?
Yeah.
Shout out to the squaddies.
Love those guys.
But listen,
we used to live near a bit of a squaddy town, didn't we?
And we did, yeah.
Back in the day.
Big one.
Shithole.
Yeah. That's where my dad grew up.
Talking of your dad then, so I think that's really a good place to start in terms of musical influences.
It's boys and their dads, isn't it?
When were you... Yeah, lads in it, boys in it. Lads on tour in it.
A couple of boys in it.
Yeah, big boys. So...
Big time.
I'd imagine, from what you've told me, you were delving through your dad's box on a regular basis.
Through his box, straight through his knicker drawer.
Yeah, that's right. So lay it on me. Music, where did it begin for you?
Well, for me, I suppose, Jack, thanks for asking.
Yeah. This is your life. Your dad's out here waiting
with
his knickers.
Everyone else.
Yeah.
That drawer's back there.
Yeah.
With the old pants in it.
Yeah.
Some of them not washed.
No. Oh. His drawer. There's drawers in it.
And it's a drawer.
Yeah.
That's funny stuff.
Underwear. There. It's all good stuff.
It's all good. We can do all that.
Yeah,
we can do all that.
Tell me about music then.
So for me,
what's music?
I grew up in a household where vinyl was always playing.
It's the vinyl countdown.
Yeah, that's we used to do the vinyl countdown every Sunday.
Yeah, baby.
I had a Europe LP when I was younger, actually.
Europe LP.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. I must have only been.
Well, after the next few months, there won't be any more Europe LPs around, will there?
No, no, there won't. You can't buy Europe the band anymore.
There's no Europe anymore. It's gone.
We got rid of that Europe thing.
Kicked him out.
Why
you got your hands in my drawers? Get out my house.
Look, the referendum was actually a vote on whether Europe should be able to tour the UK still or not.
No, that's right. That's right. Name another Europe song.
So anyway, I was in a house.
It's the referendum.
Do you know another Europe song?
No, but I grew up in a house full of chefs. It was the fennel countdown. European chefs. Eh? If I'd put that before, that'd have been funnier.
Yeah.
We'll cut that up in post.
Cut it.
Who are we kidding? I don't know how to edit. I don't know how to podcast.
We're very much running from a skeleton crew here, being the two of us and a program that seems to be doing most of the work, and also working against us almost all the time.
It's a magnetic sort of push and pull at the moment.
Yeah.
Science.
We'd do a jingle properly if we could knew how to record one. Yeah.
How true that is.
Multi-track. Don't know what that is.
No. Admiral Multicar.
Yeah.
Remember
that? Yeah. Admiral's still around.
Is he?
I see him every
It's a lady now, isn't it?
What?
Bloody PC Britain.
Oh my.
It's a lady, isn't it? I'm sure it is. Looking for a telescope.
Ugh.
A phallic object. Sexist. So tell me about music. So you grew up in a musical household.
So yeah,
Your dad was a bassoon. You haven't got any bassoon jokes. Let's just leave it and see how many bassoon jokes you've got. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I kind of think it's something to do with the horn. I don't want to talk about my dad's horn.
Wow. No, we'll come on to that later.
Go into those drawers again.
Exactly.
What have I found?
Put your horn down, sir. Go on then.
So, musical household. Mainly, I mean, my dad's 50s rock and roll all the way to probably 90s Oasis, and then as soon as we hit 2000, new music didn't exist anymore.
Well, that's a fact. There was no music after Blur's first album.
That's precisely right. Yeah. So, but always surrounded by music, and I suppose my kind of still today my main passion, I suppose, in music was found at a very young age of probably 6 or 7.
Wow.
Where I
Teletubbies theme.
Exactly.
I couldn't sing that now.
What?
Do you remember the Teletubbies theme? Teletubbies. Then what? Teletubbies eating custard. Teletubbies say hello. Uh-oh. It's all coming back to me now. That's Celine Dion.
Tiddlywinky. Uh-oh. La la. Do.
Merkel.
I
Obama.
can see a rainbow. See a rainbow.
Okay.
I can see a rainbow.
You've taken some LSD, I think. I'm not sure what's happening. We know we're clutching at straws when we've gone early in on children's TV themes. Do you remember this theme?
Yeah,
so
the Michael McIntyre School of Comedy.
Yeah, you've had a couple of digs at Michael McIntyre, haven't you?
Do you remember things?
What you got?
Do you remember things?
Spare soppers.
They're great.
Spare soppers.
Space.
So music. So you were 7 or 8 when you heard music.
When I discovered the love of my life, Iron Maiden.
Okay.
And I came across the Best of the Beast, which are greatest hits released.
Great.
On tape.
So you started off with the greatest hits.
Luckily enough, I did. Yeah. Got a good array of their back catalogue from the last 15 years or so.
Quite the catalogue now.
I borrowed from my uncle Tim. To me dad.
Tim Nice but dim.
And I was the one that listened to it the most.
Yeah.
Listened to Best of the Beast, and from there I pretty much became obsessed with Iron Maiden.
I think to this day, I'm looking right now at a lot of Maiden things. Maiden wallpaper, Maiden pint glasses, posters, pics.
The Iron Maiden kind of
everything.
The community is absolutely
well, their merch and
fanatic.
Their meetups and their fan club. It's just astonishing, isn't it? The shows that they put on, they're still a solid band.
Unbelievable.
Album after album. I mean, will they ever retire?
Well,
I don't know.
The day they retire is the day I hang myself.
The day the music dies, part 2.
Exactly. Yeah.
Dickinson hangs up his, pilot's license.
Yeah. So those are the young days for me. Is discovering, listening.
You started off heavy then.
Yeah, I mean, listening to a lot of things that my parents would play, which would be, Floyd, Pink Floyd,
bit of prog, classic,
Fleetwood Mac, lots of Queen.
Leave those kids alone.
Yeah.
Quite relevant. Today's climate.
Mm-hmm.
Queen.
The Who. Quite relevant.
The Who.
In
someone I know.
Context of The Who.
A friend's, a family friend's wife. I shan't tell her anecdote because she probably tells it better. But the anecdote ends with, I saw The Who in their early day and leant on some kind of switch, and it turned the power off in the venue.
Wow.
And it cut off seemingly everything. I don't know what kind of magic switch this is that turns off everything. Maybe it tripped or something, but she is adamant that this happened, that she just leant on it, looking all cool, and it turned off The Who.
Wow.
Which is quite a remarkable
She's
story.
the only woman to be able to turn off The Who.
Exactly.
If only someone could turn off that titness in Pete Townshend's ears.
Oh, it's so noisy. Out here in the fields. All Who songs have improved by that. Generation. Awful. You got a bit of tinnitus, haven't you?
You know,
well, you got a bit of something, haven't you?
Well, I've got a bit. I mean, I'm.
You're on the edge of it.
I'm 27.
Yeah, it's not a good age for it, mate.
I woke up one day and thought, oh, I've must have listened to some loud music yesterday. Went to bed that night. Oh, it's still there. Went to bed the next night. Oh shit!
Oh dear. That's what happens when you listen to Maiden from 7 years old. And your little bubba, your little ears are developing.
My little bub.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of Floyd, lot of classics. A lot of classics.
Yeah.
And then lots of soul and things like that. I mean, my mum's into things like The Damned and Bauhaus and things like that.
Is that true? Yeah.
So it's kind of like punk and goth and new wave and things like that.
She's a bit punk in her day, wasn't she, Sarah?
Yeah. And you know, my dad likes Adam and the Ants and people like that. So a lot of 80s, a lot of drum,
Stand and Deliver.
A lot of that stuff.
Oi, oi. He had a breakdown, didn't he?
Did he?
He did. He went off the rails for a bit. He thought he was an ant.
Did he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Highway.
He's not an ant. He's a human being. God damn it.
God damn it.
Yeah.
Prince, big, people like that.
He thought he was a prince.
He thought he was a symbol.
He died. He thought he was a symbol. He did. But that's a symbol.
Yeah, big old classics and things like that. Always LPs on in my house, and and it really went from there. But so that's up to about the age 10.
Still quite young, mate. And you had a lot of different music. You know, you were.
I was. Well, that's it. I think I was that kid.
Lucky to have.
I was that kid.
Got a lot of
people.
Styles
You know. And I'd seen people at a young age. I mean,
what was your first gig then, do you think? Or maybe your first gig with your dad? That's
I'm
quite
not
a nice
sure what my first gig was.
Do you remember?
But I know that I saw Iron Maiden when I was 11.
Wow.
And I also saw...
That's young, isn't it? Wow.
That was Download 2003.
That's young as well.
And I went... I saw Iron Maiden, I saw Deftones.
What were you then, 13, something like that? Yeah.
11. Yeah.
No, you were 11 in... What, in 2003?
No, 12.
No, 12, yeah.
11 or 12, yeah.
Yes, Deftones, of course, yeah.
Marilyn Manson, Evanescence, The Darkness.
Only your ears are gone. What a lineup. Wow.
Yeah, really good. Really, really good. So I Maiden the first time then. And
but that blew your mind, your tiny little mind, your Wiltshire brain. You're just used to seeing tractors. Oh, suddenly
there's Iron Maiden.
Your face has melted off. Where's it gone?
Yeah,
it's on the ground.
Oh no!
Oh, no, someone's pissing on it.
Someone's taking a shit on it.
That's what I do at festivals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
you know, when I pass the toilet, I go. All downloads the toilet, so I'm just going all the time. Constant stream. Yeah.
So yeah, that takes me. So I started fairly young.
Young, man. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you? Let's go.
So
what was your early
experiences? Very similar to you. You know, obviously both our dads have been in bands and things. So when my dad was young, when he was kind of in his early 20s, he was a bit of a new romantic. Yeah, he had the makeup.
Successful, wasn't he? I think
he did well in the local area in Tiptree, Essex.
Yeah.
He sent a lot off.
They were pretty good, I think.
They were good. They were very Depeche Mode-y, you know, that kind of thing, and kind of dark lyrically, and they were good, man. I mean, he did that. That's how he met my mum back in the day.
That is how they met.
Well, she auditioned for. I was looking for a male vocalist. She turned up. Ooh, she's a woman. But
let me check.
You know, ended up being BVs, and then did some lead and stuff. So I mean, so I very early on it was a lot of new romantic stuff like Yazoo and Depeche Mode and Spandau Ballet and all those kind of bands. Great songs, you know. Obviously they still find their way onto our 80s playlist today. Great hooks, you know, all about the hooks. So it was that, and then both my parents were super into rock and roll, like you mentioned, and my nan before them and that. I went jiving, went to rock and roll clubs, like did all that really early on.
And then rockabilly after.
Local rockabilly bands, rock and roll, and you know, so that was like, it was kind of the later stuff like Stray Cats and that, but it was early, obviously. Elvis, yeah, amazing. I played some UK dates just announced.
Really? Where?
Interesting. In definitely in London. Don't know the other two.
Is it just Brian Setzer now?
No, it's the Stray Cats.
Really?
He does his orchestra and his Christmas extravaganza as well.
Yeah.
Legend.
That'd be great.
Yeah, sponsored by the Stray Cats, if only. Yes, a bit of
other
them
rockabilly bands are available.
Yes, no, I was into all kinds of stuff. Obviously, Elvis, Little Richard, Beach Boys, Beatles. Obviously, moving into kind of 60s stuff. Listened to a lot of Dad's tapes. It was actual tapes. I did have a tape player for a while.
We had tape players. As well,
Walkman, got a CD Walkman. I remember
days.
when we emigrated to New Zealand for a little while. Long story, maybe that's for another time.
You got an interesting life, haven't you? You lived all over.
I'm a maverick, mate. I'm a traveller.
You're
world weary.
Nomadic.
Yeah, I'm wise.
Also, the Nomad, great song by Iron Maiden. Don't know if I mentioned them. Love them.
what? I love you guys. Bruce, I love you. Can I fly on your plane, please? Yeah. So rock and roll, and then kind of moving through. I kind of as kind of a hybrid of rock and roll and kind of 80s music. I kind of got a bit of an affection for kind of stadium rock and kind of heavy rock and that, and Motorhead. Started buying Motorhead albums. Started buying Guns N' Roses albums. That was the first two albums. Actually, it was a back to back. It was I think it might be like 3 for £10 in like Woolworths.
Lovely.
Alice Cooper, Greatest Hits.
Oh, great. Yeah.
Motorhead, Greatest Hits. I mean, there's only one song on that.
Yeah.
And Guns N' Roses, Greatest Hits, the one with the silver cover with the you'll know it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a whole new kind of hybrid of everything, and it was kind of big and rocky.
Alice
and kind
Cooper, wow.
Ballsy, yeah, amazing, and that was kind of a whole other thing, and then it obviously kind of took me through to today with all kinds of different rock and metal and stuff. But it was really rock and roll, kind of new romantic 80s stuff. Just opened the door into kind of heavy rock, and then I started to get older. Then, but we can talk about that in a second.
Yeah. So, when did you? Because we mentioned we're both musicians.
Yeah. So I suppose.
So what kickstarted that for you?
That was later on. That was when I'd moved back to the UK for various reasons, and basically I wasn't good at rugby or sheep farming, so New Zealand kicked me out.
Exactly.
Couldn't be an extra in Lord of the Rings, so they said see you later. My feet now would suit a hobbit down to the ground. Actually, now they're all puffy and full of blood.
Are they hairy? Mine are hairier than yours.
You actually do have genuinely sort of hobbit-like feet.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and face. Yeah. Yeah, so, I was basically, it was one album. When I was going through my rock phase, I started to move into more modern rock, watching the music channel. Still, we had Sky, I believe, actually, at the time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, well, big spender. And it was like, there was like Kerrang, all those channels. I think it was pretty sure it's Kerrang. I saw the video for Green Day's American Idiot, where the green paint was flowing in the kind of the whatever they were playing in some industrial building. Cool video. And I was hooked, and I thought, that sounds amazing. It looks amazing. It just triggered something, I played the album on repeat. I bought the merch, the gear, the wristbands. I was the first time I've really been invested and went for like a Green Day phase. Yeah. And to sort of coincide with this is actually slightly before I went to New Zealand. My friend Chris at the time, he was a bit of a drummer, and we kind of had a go on the drum kit on the last day of like year 7. It was like, you can have a go 5 minutes on everything. So I had a tinker on things, and he showed me some drum licks, some drum grooves, and I picked them up straight away, and it just kind of felt right. Like I sat behind the kit, I sort of played them better than him, and he was angry.
So did you? So because obviously people don't know Jack's been a drummer now since then, really. But did you pick up the guitar on that day?
No. Well, I don't think I did. I think I played a bit. I think there was something because Chris was kind of there and he was showing me, but I didn't. It was just the drums just felt right, and he showed me the stuff. I think he played "We Will Rock You," all the obvious ones, and I really liked it. And then I moved, and the drums kind of weren't on my mind, and I was listening to all this kind of new stuff and rock and roll and heavy rock and whatever. And then I came back, saw the video for Green Day's American Idiot, and thought, well, the drumming thing kind of lit a bit of a fire under me, and I'm kind of getting into rock. Probably just have a drum kit, I reckon. So I spoke to Dad. I mean, Dad, played guitar, played piano. He was writing stuff.
Yeah, he's a bit of a multi-instrumentalist.
Yeah, he played a few things, but I just didn't feel it at the time. I play a little bit of piano now, but I just didn't feel like a guitarist. I didn't feel like a pianist. I felt I wanted to hit stuff. A lot of anger in me.
I mean, connected to when you were getting into wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just felt right, man. And I convinced Dad to buy me a Session Pro. Sort of lime green drum kit. Maybe slightly darker green.
What you went for? You went quite loud early.
I went for sort of a Japanese knockoff kit. Obviously a starter kit. It's about 250 quid at the time. Yeah. And
drums are expensive.
They are, man. I mean, I dream for the day I can spend like 6, 7, 8 grand on a kit, but like that was it, man. It opened the door, and I played and played and played. I played things that were far too hard for me, as we all do. Immediately, I couldn't play them for years. American Idiot, back to back. I would try and learn it. It's not exactly I mean, Trey Cool's a very good drummer. You know, it's not exactly the easiest stuff to learn. I just tried to play that back to back, and I was buying, you know, kind of drumless tracks and kind of karaoke tracks, and then I was just suddenly seeking out. And of course, once you start playing music, your eyes are open to all kinds of other music. So that's kind of really where drumming began. It was kind of from that one album, and you know, I basically have Green Day and then Chris to kind of thank, those kind of things. You know, joined up. And
do you still talk to Chris?
This is awkward, but Chris is dead.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Chris died. Yeah, so thanks for bringing that up.
Were you friends with him when he died?
This is quite depressing. No, I went away. I didn't really speak to him for a while because I was in New Zealand. Maybe 1 or 2 emails. Then I came back, and I found out he died in a car crash.
That's awful.
It is awful, yeah. So just trying to think of any jokes I can make about that. I'm racking my brains. Yeah. So unfortunately, but he left. What a beautiful gift! The kind of the gift of music with me. So there we go.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you, Chris. I know, Jesus. But yeah, and that was kind of that. What about you then? So you obviously big vocalist, big guitarist over here. Where did that sort of begin for you then?
Well, so I was, as I said, into rock and kind of Floyd, especially with Dave Gilmour. His kind of playing really was just, you know, air guitaring across the living room, you know,
skidding on your knees at a disco.
So, and I think I decided that I wanted to learn how to play guitar. I was about I think 12, so it was pretty soon after I'd been into Maiden a long time. I was a bit older than when I first started. I mean, I was very into football and sports when I was younger. So
you're quite sporty, weren't you?
I played football.
You would have been the guy that would have bullied me at school. Yeah, I was not sporty at all.
Yeah, no, you were a nerd.
I wasn't even that. I was just
loser,
just crippled by anxiety.
Just crippled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of a black hole.
Yeah. Black hole of anxiety.
That's what happens when your friends die around you.
Do you want to talk about that?
I'm alright. Actually, I'm alright about that at the moment. Just keep that bottled up. That'll do me well.
Get that cork.
Yeah. Pop. So you listened to all this stuff.
Yeah.
You had a little sing-song one day. You thought,
well,
I sound like a Tweety bird.
What happened was, so I started playing guitar, and my dad decided he was going to learn alongside me.
Is that right? That's really nice.
To go over to
the dark side.
Exactly, yeah, to Trowbridge, indeed, the dark side.
The dark side.
To a
county town of Wiltshire.
To a big,
also the capital of stabbings in Wiltshire.
I think actually highest teenage pregnancy rate per member of population outside of London.
Is that right?
Something like that.
Wow.
Shocking. So there was me on a street corner playing to all the pregnant girls. They loved it.
They were loving it. Sprogs popping out left, right and centre.
Took me over to Mr. John Holcomb. My
name checked him. Mr. Holcomb.
Shout out to Mr. Holcomb, who taught me how to first twiddle on a guitar.
Oh yeah.
My dad came with me and bought me a Yamaha Pacifica.
You started with a Yamaha.
Aha.
Aha.
That was
a great band.
Name another Aha song apart from
Lifelines.
Next.
Stay on these roads.
You make
Foot of the Mountain.
Yep.
Butterfly.
Come
They're
on.
all Aha songs I can trust.
Are you?
I can trust you, and you can trust me. Let's trust each other together.
They're
in perfect harmony.
Took me over, started learning, and we're just having a good time, really.
What were you learning then? What was your early stuff?
So
I was learning stuff far too hard for me.
The first song I ever learned, I think, was "Hey Joe" by Jimi Hendrix.
A terrible song. Absolutely hate that song.
Brilliant song.
No.
Brilliant song.
I've played it in too many cover bands, including cover bands with you. Yeah.
Too many.
Yeah.
Too many with me, even.
Oh, probably 10. maybe 20.
And then one day, when I was at school, I was a little bit of a clown, you know, a little bit of a
prick.
Prick, yeah.
Like clown, you just sat and had big shoes.
Yeah. Sad, alone, and with big shoes.
Yeah. Stop juggling.
Love me, please.
Please love me.
And I think I went in. There was my music class at school, so I went to a school that had really good.
You were lucky. Facilities.
Had fantastic
very
facilities. So had a recording booth.
Wow.
Like 30 guitars.
What?
2 drum kits. 3 drum kits.
It's more than my music school has.
Crazy. And also a whole dance studio with a sprung floor.
That's the kind of support you need then, man. I mean, we're not going to get too deep into music and education and stuff, but like, you just got to pump your funding into creativity and that for kids. I mean, that has nurtured you and you know and made you, you know, one of the, you know, most mediocre musicians in the Nottingham area. So
exactly,
if you hadn't have had that, imagine where you'd
no
be.
Money.
You'd still be in Trowbridge performing to, you know, 13-year-olds. Yeah, very much our demographic.
Yeah, very much. Yeah. So. Shout out to all the 13-year-old girls.
So you started with lessons, which I find interesting. I never had lessons until like up to maybe 2 years ago. To my detriment, really, technique, everything. I had never done it. I sort of was forced into doing it through education. Yeah. But you started early with lessons. So do you think that benefited
kind of
you?
Unofficial lessons. I mean, they weren't kind of technique lessons or music. You know, reading lessons.
Was it more just learning songs?
It was more, you know, here's how to play a C.
Well, that's still a lesson, mate.
Keep playing it until you can do it. But less kind of like, here's how to read music, or here's how to do this. Or
you only play the C chord
at
all times.
Look, my favourite chord's the C. My least favourite chord, the C.
Interesting. Wow.
Chords I can play.
Always fighting with yourself.
The Charlie chord.
The Charlie. Talking to Charlie. You played the bass. Surrounded by musicians, weren't you? Brothers. Yeah, did your mum play?
But I kicked it off. They all brought it on.
You were the guy.
We all learned together. But
I love that. I think that's really.
I wonder if it would have happened if I hadn't have. I would suggest not, but who knows?
So moving into being a little bit older, then I think maybe we've got a few influences. When did you start singing then? So my guitar for a bit.
Yeah, so my school, like I said, had great facilities, and my music class decided they were going to do for one of their, you know, whatever tests or something. They were going to put on a Grease.
Oh, I did Grease in my school as well.
And I
played the drums.
Yeah, and but it wasn't like a big performance. It was just in the class. It's like the and I
did the proper show back 3 nights, sold out.
What would you pay for that?
You know, I bought myself, and I wish they still did these, back when Cadbury's just started doing the share bags. There was a golden brown packet of chocolate-coated peanuts. I had just a lot of them. Yeah. Didn't need payment. The audience, that was my payment.
Enriching.
Pay me in love.
They paid you in claps.
Yeah.
I
got the clap.
Which member of the audience was that?
What was her name that taught us? She had an affair, I think. Hopefully she won't find
this. You and gave you the clap.
Her husband was in the military. She was a military wife. We know what they're like, and
God,
always moving around. And she ended up going off with a love. I won't name him in case it's libelous, but a lovely sort of teaching assistant who was a drummer. And they made a lovely family in the end.
Well, shout out to them.
They had bubbers, and I believe I tried to add one of them on Facebook a long time ago.
Ignored you.
And they ignored me, and I thought, but the whole teacher-student thing, it's gone now. But I guess they still feel it's a little bit.
Well, they didn't like you.
Oh.
Yeah, she told me.
Oh, you know her, do you?
She gave me the clap as well.
You move in similar circles. Yeah.
Yeah, round around the circle.
The circle of life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Me and her, and you, and the clap.
And Elton.
Yeah,
best mates. So you did a song from Grease, did you?
Yeah, well, the classic Summer Night song. And like I said, I was a bit of a clown. I was quite loud. You know. Why don't you ever go? So
why don't you ever go? You think you're hard enough?
Yeah. Come on, you little prick.
Yeah.
And I sang. I'd never sung before, really, and
wow.
And I sung this in front of everybody. This thing.
Jeez.
And sort of the teacher, that was all right. And in the end, later that day, I got home, and my music teacher rang my mum.
No,
and
that's
said,
lovely.
Kenny has got a really soulful and really quite promising voice.
Yeah.
Singing voice.
Yeah.
Just thought you should know.
That's funny. That's great, though.
And went from there.
I remember I had some kind of djembe African drums lesson. Sort of almost. I think that was actually in primary school. That was before I played normal acoustic drum kit. And I remember the teacher there coming up to me and saying, "You got quite a good rhythm." So I suppose it is sort of innately there. Like you kind of had a voice. I kind of had this sense of rhythm, and over time we kind of developed it. And and I mean, that's great, really, isn't it? There is that debate to be had of whether you're born with kind of a musical gift as such, or whether it can be learned. I think it can be learned up to a point, but I think there's a there's a certain oomph on an X factor or whatever that you can have that it just sets you apart from the rest. I think
when it comes to the geniuses,
Jimmy,
Sheeran, me, you, Jim, and
me, you, and the other 3 to 6 people that write with him.
Me, you, Hendrix, Sheeran, and all his co-writers.
Dream band, baby. Let's play Wembley. The old one.
The old one.
Yeah.
Take it back.
The
Twin Towers. Don't say that anymore.
that is a reference right there.
Yeah.
Was that a band you were in? Yeah.
That was the name of. There was 2 towers at Wembley Stadium. Really? The old one. Wow. I'm sure they were called the Twin Towers. Don't call that anymore.
No, you can't say that anymore, can you?
Yeah, they
can't dial 911 anymore, can you?
They were demolished.
Yeah.
The ones at Wembley. Also the ones in New York. # demolished.
Hashtag too soon. Hashtag never forget. So did you play, so what happened from then? Did you play like school assemblies and things? I played a lot of school concerts.
So yeah, once I kind of had that and I could play guitar a bit, I could sing a bit, I set up some bands. I was in a band. So I think maybe we should talk about some weird band names that we had. So
well, you were in a lot of bands, and then I sort of caught up towards the end. But you were in bands young, man. I mean, as soon as you found out you could sing, you were like, probably get a band together, be the new Beatles, mate.
Yeah.
So what was your first band?
I think I was 15.
Oh, that's not as early as I thought.
14 or 15, maybe. Yeah.
When everyone else was about 45 in the band, it was a bit strange.
Yeah. Oh no, that was a bit later. I was in a band called Dogma.
Dogma. Okay. You and a lot of dogs.
I remember a very funny thing that happened was we played the school assembly, and my headmaster at the time, who sadly died soon after he retired.
Heard your song.
We were about to play the end of year assembly.
Yeah.
And
classic gigs that.
Classic.
The memories I've got of Sweet Child of Mine and the end of year assembly burnt into my brain.
And he said, "Oh, what are you called?" Literally as we're about to go on. And I said
Dogma.
I said Dogma, and he looked at me and went, "Dogmuck?"
Now that is funny.
I went, no.
Dogmuck. Wow.
So that was funny.
Yeah, the dogs.
Do 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 do.
Bollocks.
Yeah. So
what song did you play as Dogma then? Originals.
Yeah.
Of course, a 15-year-old originals band.
A few.
Yeah.
A few. I remember we played Trowbridge Snooker Club with
No Teenage Girls Allowed.
Yeah, with a group of with 2 other bands from the school.
Yeah.
And yeah, we played things like Ziggy Stardust.
Did you really?
We played Hey Joe. Of course we did.
Unbelievable.
We played Wish You Were Here by Pink Floyd.
Yeah, unless your name's Joe.
Yeah. What did we play? We started writing originals and things, and we played some of them. And
you were in a number of bands after that, weren't you? I suppose they all end up folding, don't they?
They do. So I was in another band, Dogma BC, which was
same band.
Just me and on acoustic guitar and another guy.
Yeah.
That was quite fun.
You cut your teeth on some gigs early then.
Yeah, we used to work with a promotion called Justice Promotions.
Oh, yeah, you had promoted, didn't you?
And they used to put on gigs across the southwest, with giving young talent an opportunity to be able to play venues. And
super important.
They had this kind of headline band slot, so whenever you were booked, you would play the headline slot. And if you became a headline band, you would get to play all the gigs that they put on for that month.
Good. Yeah.
And we got offered the chance to be a headline band. So we played and headlined about 6 shows in a month.
Great.
And then from then on, headlined any show that we were playing. So
Yeah.
that was
You
great.
were good then. Great experience as well.
Amazing, yeah.
Especially when you're young, you're learning what to do, stage presence.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Which you've got, ounces, pints of it.
Pints
of stage presence oozing out of your pores.
Oozing. This is just
if you're in the front row, ugh.
You get wet. Yeah. Is that moisturiser or is it something else?
It could be anything coming out of you.
Yeah,
Don't know. Great. And then
couple of why don't you reel off a couple of things that you did? Couple of band names. I mean, band names are a funny one. I think.
Well, I was learning obviously drums, and then learning favourite albums, and just kept going on. Did the same as you. Year or so in, I'd picked up enough, of what you could kind of self-teach yourself, and I still into Green Day at the time. A year later, a particular lyric from "She's a Rebel." She's a symbol of resistance, is that particular line. So I thought, great name for a first band, Symbol of Resistance. That's the one.
That's it.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome to the stage? It's Symbol of Resistance. It just flows off the tongue.
And if anything, there was a lot of resistance from the crowd.
Yeah. And I had, I think, one symbol at the time, so it worked.
Simple.
And I managed to sort of collect people from school, as you do.
Yeah.
Someone who wasn't very good, and then someone else who wasn't very good, and someone else who wasn't very good. There was a guitarist that was okay, and we had one rehearsal in the farmhouse that I was living in, and played some Kaiser Chiefs, played Upper Dicta Riot. I remember that.
Oh, nice.
Nick, the drummer, old drummer for Kaiser Chiefs, very good drummer. Bit of an early inspiration actually, but it just folded as it does. You just can't. You can't get people together now for a band, let alone when you're sort of 14, 15, 16. It folded as it does.
We still struggle to keep bands together.
Well, that's it, mate. And I got told off by the council for making too much noise drumming, and Dad had to fashion some sort of soundproofing to fit the window. Yeah. And I was shaking the farmhouse to its foundations.
Thing with parents, especially, that are supportive of the
arts. He loved it. It was so supportive.
I remember my parents. We attempted to convert my garage into a soundproof practice area.
Egg boxes, carpet.
Yeah, so we carpet, egg boxes. We ended up
just going through so many eggs.
Yeah, exactly.
What's for dinner? It's omelette again.
A lot of eggs.
Yeah.
So we did a couple of sessions. We did a recording session that we won from being the headline thing for this promotion.
Always headlining. Not that you talk about it.
And we did some recording at that session, and then we did some recording at my school. So we ended up having a mini EP called the Egg Box.
Really?
The Egg Box.
I am the Egg Box.
The Egg Box Llama and Matrava's session.
Wow. Still out there somewhere on MySpace.
I've got it.
Wow. Later down the line, what a tidbit that would be.
And it was built over 3 different sort of over about 2 years, and it was built as bass and guitar, then was built a bit further up with multiple vocal tracks and things like that, and then was in the end built up with
full horn section, my orchestra,
my
London Philharmonic.
Yeah, they came along.
Yeah.
My music teacher playing piano under it, giving female vocals on it, and then the old music tech
what
at my school cutting it, and me playing an acoustic backing that he inserted, and then me playing a guitar solo over the top. So it turned
this is ridiculous.
It turned into this kind of huge
concerto
sounded song, which started off as this kind of dodgy.
I'd love to hear that as well.
Acoustic bass kind of song.
I haven't heard that much of your old stuff. I remember a few songs that I heard when we first started that you kind of showed me that you'd done, but yeah, I did the same thing as you, but I did a lot more kind of school bands things, sort of soul band, Mustang Sally, all of that, playing drums to that. And as I was getting better, I was quite versatile, so I would get called in to play all the songs that other drummers couldn't play. That's when really developed my ego. I was like, you can't play it.
Tell.
I can play it.
Yeah.
I'm going to squash you like Adam squashes his ants under me feet. And
Adam.
I ended up playing in kind of a lot of school concerts over the years. Played Metallica in a church concert. That was something that
I played in a church
was
as well.
Was quite fun. Vicar was tapping his feet. We kind of did a medley
Yeah.
You know, Metallica was in there. He loved it.
A medley of the devil's music.
Oh well, you know, I was all about the irony even then. And yeah, just over the years, I would kind of various cover bands, bits and bobs, and obviously we've explained to the lovely viewers already kind of how we met. But it wasn't that many good bands before us really. I mean, it was just kind of you never are you? All the gigs I've played. I mean, I was in a semi-successful band in London for a while that got some interest from BBC and, you know, rock band wanted to use the song and all this kind of stuff, and played some cool venues in London. But you know, all the drum kits are stuck together with gaffer tape, and promoters are slimy, and singers are, well, we know what singers are like. You know, people steal all your songs and run away and try and sell them. You know, that kind of thing.
That kind of thing. Cheers for that, mate.
Not really that bitter. But you know, but then you develop some lovely contacts through that, and some close friends, of course, and you know, that's one thing music does to it. It brings you together.
Music's a great thing to bring you together, isn't it?
It really does.
So fast forward, we've been in a few bands.
Well, yeah, we've spoken a bit about that. We've done bits and bobs, haven't we? Some cover stuff, some original stuff.
Band Next Door, we were in a covers band.
Band Next Door.
Talked about that in the pilot.
Yeah, Beyond Borders.
Beyond Borders, we were in that together.
Self-Indulgence, our kind of little comedy band.
Yeah.
Coming to a road near you.
We went away then and did sort of different things, didn't we? I was in a band. I was in a band for a little bit called the Sad Pandas.
Yes, that's right.
And you went on and joined. You just
called
joined
Phonics. Yeah. Don't Google them.
They're actually on Spotify.
Yeah.
Check them out.
Not anymore.
Oh
no, but legal stuff. But so that was a London band in question. So yeah, I did the whole move to London and find your fortune, meet the Queen.
Yeah,
you know, Benny Hill, Lenny Henry,
Benny Hill.
you know, all of that stuff that you do in London. You know, and it's fine, but London's not all it's cracked up to be. You know, it's so many dodgy venues and that, and it's just. I kind of fell out of love a little bit with drumming, and that's really when I started playing a little bit more piano and things. I wanted something a bit more kind of melodic and a bit something I could sink my teeth into. Not that I'm the best drummer I can ever be and can't improve, but like until I kind of went to music school later on down the line, which was only a couple of years ago, that I finally decided to actually do that. I was kind of in no man's land. We'd been in bands, I'd done bands, I'd been wronged so many times, I'd been screwed over, and I was like, well, maybe if I just like do my own stuff, maybe that's kind of a nice way. And I'd always written little ditties and little kind of silly things and little jokes and little songs. And then I started writing a bit more serious songs. And then, you know, I never wanted to be an artist. I write for other people, but it suddenly, that kind of dream of being in a rock band it's kind of gone a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's part of growing up, isn't it? I think there's heady dreams, there's heady days at the beginning, and then you turn into, well, How do I stop being so dirt poor?
Money's a big thing, you know, and
it's a massive issue for people in the arts.
Yeah, commitment's
young
a huge
people.
thing as well.
Yeah,
people don't commit.
I mean, we're doing this. We're recording this. I'm up for work at 7 a.m. and it's currently 20 to 1 in the morning.
Yeah.
So you know,
we do it.
Bleeding artist, me.
Big time boys.
You know, so
no pain, no gain.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So.
Not all about the money, I suppose. It's about the
the
enjoyment and how fulfilling it is in your heart,
straight
in your soul,
straight in your heart.
But
so and then we most recently we've done Self-Indulgence, which was a little
that was our little comedy thing we've done.
That was a thing we've done just before starting this podcast.
That was a nice hybrid of both our love of comedy, our love of music, our love very much kind of the live version of this podcast, if almost, you know what I mean,
Pretty
a little
much,
bit more sketchy and a little bit more silly, but. Yeah, we've always been lucky that we have a natural rapport together, playing as well as kind of just being mates. You know, we've got kind of, even from the first time when we played in that pub, sort of back room or something, wasn't it? We kind of had that kind of rapport, playing Oasis covers and things.
Yeah. So most recently we did Self-Indulgence, where we went a bit wacky, we went a bit crazy.
We did.
We did
straight away we did Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Notorious. B.I.G. mixed together. Yeah. You know, leave it there. What more do you want?
Chitty Chitty Brat Brat.
That was it. Yeah. You know, it's out there somewhere.
Yeah, that was good fun.
Yeah.
We did some other silly stuff.
We did some covers of Erasure. We did
we did that, yeah.
Just
we did a
just jamming most
15-minute version of Hey Jude where you
that
only
was
play
funny.
the end bit.
Yeah, it's most of what we do is funny to us.
Yeah. Hey
Jude.
One more time, yeah. One more time, yeah.
No. Just endless.
Over
on a
and
loop.
over.
People started leaving.
Yeah.
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 We're gonna have to lock up, guys.
Yeah.
Nah. No, you're not.
Finish the gig.
Yeah.
And then put Hey Jude on straight after.
That was funny. Again, just find ourselves just really funny.
Yeah. This has gone a long time, and really, we are.
Well, we're on the 50-minute mark.
Yeah.
You know what this is time for?
Go on.
Favourite albums.
Right now.
5 minutes on your favourite albums. Minute an album.
Okay. Number one.
Favourite's hard. It can just be albums that influence you.
Yeah.
It changes, doesn't it? But
number
generally
one,
speaking, an album you could stick on back to back and you like it.
Okay. Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd.
Nice.
What an album.
Classic.
Just spatially,
visually,
esoterically. Fantastic.
Mathematically.
Indeed.
Does everything you need it to do.
The lyrics are amazing. The playing is
narrative,
unreal.
Beautiful.
The narrative throughout.
Ethereal.
I mean, I like The Wall a lot.
I like your wall. It's a nice wall.
It's a great wall, and I love The Wall.
It's a bit thin, though.
Yeah, thin bloody walls, a bit like your skin.
Yeah. I stuffed me toe, that's it. I'm out for the count.
Brittle bones.
Yeah. Brittle soul.
The Wall, just a fantastic album.
Yeah.
As well. But Dark Side of the Moon, I think, is my favourite. Just has that kind of thing about it. It's just conceptually just
it's a piece of art as opposed to a
isn't
thing, doesn't it? But it's really a piece of art as opposed to a.
Yeah. How about yourself? One from you.
We're going one for one, are we?
One.
Okay. Well, it's American Idiot. I know I've mentioned it already. Introduced me to everything punk, pop punk.
Yeah.
That kind of punky songwriting, just
again, I like
playing.
It's another concept album, isn't it?
Yeah, that kind of rock opera thing. Obviously, made it to a musical, since then and that. But just in terms of drumming alone, Trey was such a big influence on my drumming and the feels and kind of the speed at which he plays and he plays for the song as opposed to kind of playing for himself and that's something I've always taken with me. So I would say American Idiot straight away.
He's a brilliant drummer.
Lucky enough to see him live as well at the Emirates a few years back, and dream come true, really. As cliche as it is to say I've seen them, is we'll probably talk about bands we've seen live another time, I think, possibly.
Yes,
that might be worth doing. But what about you then?
I mean, in terms of Maiden, it's hard to pick. Number of the Beast, Seventh Son of the Seventh Son, Power Slave.
Yeah.
Complete masterpieces in my mind.
Yeah, great.
Seventh Son especially.
Yeah.
Where they went proggy, they took a real big leap on developing the sound.
Anything with sun and moon in it, that's what you like.
Exactly.
You're all about space, isn't you?
If an album opens with the track Moonchild, I'm in. I'm in.
I lived inside the sun. It's my favourite album. It's my favourite album.
Yeah, space is infinite. I'm here.
I'm here.
I'm in.
Yeah. You'll love Brian Cox's latest work then.
Yeah. Yeah. He was, interestingly, on Joe Rogan
Cox.
this week.
Perfect surname for that man.
Come on.
He's an arse. The man's an arse.
The man's an ass.
He knows a lot of stuff, but
yeah,
I want to take him to the dentist. Shattered.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan. Really interesting.
He was, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was. The only issue with listen to things like that was I was listening to it on my way to work on Monday, and talking about how the universe is 13.8 billion years old. And
infinite.
I'm on my way to work, and I just think to myself, what the hell am I doing?
Yeah, your consciousness experience in itself. Yeah, but I'm on the way to work. I haven't got time for this.
Yeah, I've got to pretend like I give a shit for the next 8 hours.
I know. So, Maiden.
I'd go in for a Maiden there.
All right.
But those are two that we've already mentioned. Green Day, Maiden.
I'm going to hit you with a Darkness, Permission to Land.
Oh.
Fantastic. Tongue-in-cheek, but underrated band in terms of songwriting and musicians. Justin, of course, written a lot of jingles and a lot of songs and stuff before. Back-to-back rock album. I've seen them 4 or 5 times, The Darkness. Yeah. We were lucky to see them up here in Nottingham.
We did. They were fantastic.
Just wonderful live band. Still pumping out tunes.
Yeah.
love the fact they got Roger Taylor's son as the drummer now.
I think they're an amalgamation of a lot of things we love.
Oh,
it's
man.
comedy.
It's funny. It's great. It's hard rock.
It's kind of, in a way, it's kind of a bit like wrestling. It's a bit silly.
Yeah.
It's theatre.
But there's nothing wrong with that.
And it's
nothing wrong with that.
It's tongue in cheek, but when it comes down to it, they're just bloody good songs.
Yeah.
They're just really good, and Justin Hawkins' voice is fantastic.
He's even better these days.
And stage show, his
they certainly put on an act.
His act is unreal.
Yeah, you need to get some more cat suits in your stage.
That's what I need, isn't it?
Yeah.
I might need some bigger ones than him.
Yeah,
I'll get 4 of his songs together.
Strap some cats to you.
Yeah, that is an incredible album. And I also got 2003. I had that album.
Huge, man.
When it was released, and listened to it back to back. It was unreal. Much preferred it to American Idiot. Actually, I have to admit, I was not a fan of American Idiot at the time.
Grower. It's a grower
for me. It's a grower.
What about your next one then?
Wow,
difficult, isn't it, on the spot? But just inspirational albums. I think I wrote a few down actually, so I would remember.
I mean, it's going to sound odd, but I'm actually going to go for Queen's Greatest Hits Platinum Collection.
Greatest Hits aren't allowed.
But the thing is, when I was a kid,
they're a given. Of course, it's one of the most popular albums of all time. It's fantastic.
I think it's one of the most sold.
Is it 1 in 3 British households own it? Some
stupid
mental statistic like that. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, having now grown up and dived in, Night at the Opera,
some wonderful album tracks on all the Queen stuff as well. But
the
Greatest Hits.
But
what can you say
having
about
that
Queen?
Platinum Collection when I was a kid and just listening to it so much.
Tour de force, isn't it? Yeah, back to back.
Greatest Hits 1 and 2 especially. I mean, the third one goes a bit crazy with the...
They put a lot of solo stuff on the last one, the remixes and stuff. Yeah. But I mean...
The first two, just unbelievable.
What's this, hits after hits, isn't it? Anthems, ballads,
so that was
storytelling, rock songs, just everything you want. Queen are up there, man. It's one of my favourite bands of all time. I mean, again, been very lucky enough to see Queen.
I know, I have not.
The O2. With Adam Lambert, of course, but unbelievable, emotional. I had a cry.
Yeah, I bet.
I had a cry.
We talked about Bohemian Rhapsody, the film.
Yeah,
I couldn't stop crying.
No, you were
unbelievable.
Mess, didn't you?
That's an early childhood memory of mine. Is hearing about Live Aid from my parents.
I love that. Not seeing Live Aid because you weren't born, but hearing about Live Aid.
Me and my brother loved Live Aid so much, having not.
How cool is that?
It was 6 years before I was born.
That was a part of your life.
And me and him one year went halves on the Live Aid DVD that was released.
Wow, really?
When we were probably only
cut it in half.
15 or something. Exactly, yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's just brilliant.
Live Aid. You like Live Aid? I like Lemonade.
Yeah,
I didn't know a lot about Live Aid for a long time.
Really.
No,
I think because
never seen it all the way through. Only the best.
Really, yeah. Because my kind of university side of things is based on I've done international development and things like that, and sort of studied and written dissertations on various things within Africa and.
Yeah, been to Ghana, haven't you?
Development issues. Oh yeah, did I mention I've been to Ghana
a couple of times? Yeah.
And I think that all that was really started because of the kind of that charitable side of Live Aid, and being aware of kind of the African poverty, and in that would have been probably the first thing that really hit home on that. So. That kind of sprung on.
Stayed with you, man.
Stayed with everything, and
the
music and the cause. Even though
the band, The Cause.
Yeah.
I will run away.
Even though the fact that, interesting fact, Live Aid raised enough money to pay off the African debt to developed nations for one day.
Good day though.
Sorry, not the debt. The interest on the debt for one day. Yeah.
Talking of interest, how long are people going to listen to this, do we think?
Well,
because we're only on number 2 of our favourite albums. Should we save the rest for next time?
Let's go one more.
We'll go one more. All right. Shall I check me? This is difficult, man. Let me check my list. Oh, it's hard.
You've got a list of your favourite albums?
I do. Well, I wrote it down earlier.
Yeah. I've got another one.
I'll go for... I'll go for, as we mentioned before, bit of power metal.
You love it.
I got way into metal after going on Scars.
We didn't even get to metal. Really.
We'll talk about it next time. Metal Hammer magazine. I started getting that. Compilations. Introduced me to Dragon Force. Suddenly, hard rock became metal, became power metal, became symphonic metal, became death metal, became all the metals.
All the
Name a metal.
Aluminium.
I love that. Great band.
Copper.
Yeah. Got arrested by one. Name another metal.
Zinc.
Yeah. Greatest hits. Good. And Sonata Arctica.
Titanium.
Yeah. They're there.
Go on.
Sonata Arctica, a Finnish metal band who...
anyone who hasn't listened to them, check them out.
Bit niche, but they do very well. And they've sold a lot of records. I think the album's called Reckoning Night, potentially Reckoning Day, Reckoning Night. I think it's called Reckoning Night. And that for me just kind of introduced me to whole next level drumming and kind of orchestration, instrumentation. It was kind of this whole journey and very kind of fairy tale-esque, and I kind of fantasy kind of stuff. So it was kind of a mixture of sort of Lord of the Rings and metal.
Love it.
Which is that's what I wanted. Weld them together.
Put that together.
Your steel person, blacksmith. Forgot what that name was for a minute. I thought blacksmith was a steel person.
Isn't that Iron Man?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So one more then. Go on.
Should I go in a similar vein? Because I'm going to go totally away from. I mean, I love. I quite like that kind of power metal as well. I really like. Kind of more experimental metal at the moment. Kind of. Alien Weaponry, big fan of Alien Weaponry. Yeah,
Kiwi boys, they're young as well, man.
Crazy. But I'm actually going to go for something totally different. One of the albums from my teenage years that I loved, which was Whatever People Say I Am Is What I'm Not by the Arctic Monkeys. The first Arctic Monkeys album.
Very important album, the MySpace generation.
Again, not a massive fan of it when it came out.
Really? So it was a grower as well?
It was a grower for me, but I just, those hooks, the lyrics, the jaunty British style of it.
Yeah, very intrinsically British kind of humour, dark.
Absolutely
relatable.
And now I think it's possibly the best album of the 2000s in the mainstream.
You think mainstream kind of indie rock?
Unbelievable. I mean, people say, the Strokes, this it?
No, Monkey's knocked the Strokes into a cocked hat.
Yeah, I'd say so. They've had better longevity, although let's admit the latest album was a big steaming pile of
dog muck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Maybe each episode will do maybe like a 3 albums that inspire us, 3 albums that we like
nice.
Thing. That might be nice. Well, because you can go on for days, can't you?
Could.
I've got a list of 20 already.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll leave you with that. Some rock, some kind of some indie stuff, some metal.
Give the readers a one band to check out before the next
one
episode.
Band to check out of the week, I would say Thirsty Merc, an Australian rock band. Alternative rock, I'll just say rock band.
Yeah.
Kind of a mixture of soul, funk, rock. Fantastic lyricist. Really one of those bands that just take you to like an Australian beach straight away. Never come to the UK. Gutted about that. The album Shifting Gears I would recommend. I think it's a fantastic album back to back.
Check that out.
Thirsty Merc, it's short for Thirsty Mercedes.
Is it really?
So it used to drink up all the petrol.
All of it.
And they were touring.
All of it.
Thirsty Merc, that's my Jack's Band of the Week. What about Kenny's Band of the Week?
Kenny's Band of the Week is going to be who we just mentioned. The young Kiwi boys Alien Weaponry.
An unknown band called Iron Maiden.
Alien Weaponry boys from New Zealand. Singing in a mix of English and Maori language with
my native tongue. Well, I was there for about 2 months.
With absolutely crunching
riffs. I would say dirty. I would say dirgy.
Riffs
sludge
for days.
Yeah,
those boys have got.
Yeah, they inspired me to get a massive tribal Maori face tattoo.
Yeah, they really give it hell, and they are so young.
Almost too young.
2 brothers and a friend of theirs. They're only a 3-piece, and there's a video of them on YouTube.
Oh my goodness!
They live on a farm that I think is 3 kilometers away from anybody else, so they make as much noise as they want.
New Zealand houses.
Yeah, and there is a it must be, I think there's a promo video for when they're entering maybe an under-18s battle of the bands or something, but it's like a country composition, and they are 15 in that video, and they are playing songs in that video that made it to their debut album.
That's pretty cool, man.
Amazing.
But you know what? Playing loud music that young, 2 years' time.
All that.
You gotta destroy the ring, Frodo. Should we wrap it up?
New Zealand's two biggest exports, alien weaponry and...
No, I love Lord of the Rings. We should do a film episode as well.
We should.
We should watch all of them back to back.
Yeah.
And do some bloody funny riffing over the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what's the best thing to do with one of the greatest film trilogies of all time. Speak over. Speak over it.
Yeah.
Speak over it.
Absolutely. Just mute it. Just do some improv over the top. Imagine if Gollum was a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that kind of stuff.
If anyone's reached this point of the podcast, what are you doing?
Unlikely.
What are you doing?
We'll edit this down. We won't. Straight out.
It's going out raw, baby.
Oh, I think we've talked a lot about our influences, things we like, things we don't like. We can't talk about it all in one podcast.
No.
The whole thing's a music and wrestling podcast. Yeah. We'll keep talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you want so much from me?
Yeah. Big time.
It's upsetting. You brought up death.
Come on.
You know what I mean? It's just like, I'm going to have to go and sit in a room and listen to loud music till my ears bleed.
Listen to some My Chemical Romance.
Follow us, Rock and Roll Up Podcast, on all the things apart from Twitter, Rock Roll Up Pod. Nobody follows us on Twitter. Nobody follows us anywhere.
I'll tell you what.
I'll follow you.
If you're the first person to follow us on Twitter...
I think we've got 5, maybe.
If you're the first person to follow us on Twitter...
Go on.
After those 5...
Yeah. So if you're the 6th person to follow us on Twitter, what'd you get?
You'll get
a signed photo of us.
You'll get a 4-bar freestyle rap from Jack Cowling next episode.
Whoa, now. All right, I'm up for that.
Yeah. If you're the 6th follower on Twitter, you give us a topic and Jack will give you a 4-bar freestyle rap off the dome, baby.
Off the dome. Give me a topic, that chocolate bar topic.
Yeah.
Remember them?
And you'll drop one in.
I'll drop one in for you.
All right.
Just like that.
Jack's joke of the week. Let's get it done quickly. Go for it.
Well, I sort of did it earlier, didn't I? Let me try and think of a Lord of the Rings one. Quick.
Go on.
Let me think. Oh, I wrote a dissertation on Lord of the Rings and included a Bilboography.
Brilliant.
Bilboography there.
Yeah.
Bit like bibliography.
Anyone? They're laughing.
Rock and Roll Up Podcast, Rock Roll Up Pod. Anything else to say? Final words?
Big time.
Anything musical related?
Big time.
If you want the rainbow, you got to put up with the rain. You know who said that?
Go on.
Dolly Parton.
Is that right?
People say she's just a big pair of tits. I've been Jack.
I've been Kenny.
Peace out.
Big time.
Baby, when I met you. I've just got Dolly Parton in my head now.